The Middle Ages weren't filled with knights and kings. They were filled with people doing the most horrifying, cursed, and dangerous jobs you've never heard of. Today, we reveal 5 medieval professions so terrifying, you'll thank modern life for every second you're alive. 1. The Plague Doctor, the walking symbol of death. They wore long, dark cloaks lined with candles, boots and clothes caked with mud and blood, and the famous beaked masks stuffed with herbs, flowers, or cloth soaked in vinegar. People believed the sweet scents inside would protect them from the invisible poison in the air, known as miasma. But none of that mattered. Plague doctors would enter homes where entire families were struggling to breathe. They would touch corpses that no one else dared approach. They would lift the dying, record the names of the dead, and breathe the same air that had killed millions. Most survived only a few weeks. This work was not about healing the sick, but about counting them. And what was the cruelest irony? Most plague doctors weren't even real doctors. They were desperate men, unemployed soldiers, failed students, or travelers without the courage to face Europe's deadliest enemy. 2. The Night Soot Sweeper, the Knight's Nightmare Worker. Medieval toilets, essentially deep pits filled with human waste, needed to be emptied when they became full. This person was called a Night Soot Sweeper. They worked only at night, silently roaming the streets with shovels, ropes, and flickering candles. One wrong step in the cesspool could cause instant suffocation. Poisonous methane gas and toxic fumes, building up over months or even years, could kill a man in a single breath. Their wages were surprisingly high, but no amount of money could erase that stigma. People held their breath as they passed by. No one shook their hands. They were shunned from many neighborhoods. They lived far outside the city walls, in the darkness, doing a job that everyone needed, but no one respected. And it was deadly. 3. Leech Collectors, those who made a living by draining blood. Medieval medicine believed that almost all diseases stemmed from bad blood. Therefore, doctors demanded leeches, thousands of leeches. Leech collectors embarked on arduous treks to swamps, wetlands, and muddy riverbanks. They wore almost nothing on their legs, as leeches needed bare skin to attach themselves. Within minutes, dozens, sometimes hundreds of leeches would attach themselves and suck their blood. The collectors lost so much blood that they became dizzy. Many contracted infections, high fevers, or anemia. Some fainted on the way home and never got up again. What was the worst part? Most of these leeches couldn't cure a single patient. The leech collectors died and suffered in vain. 4. The Executioner, feared, hated, and forever alone. Executioners held the most paradoxical job in all of medieval society. They were necessary, yet cursed. They swung swords, tied nooses, crushed bones, branded criminals, and oversaw tortures that would break the toughest man alive. Crowds cheered their work in public squares, but no one trusted the man behind the axe. Children were warned not to look at them. Merchants refused to serve them. Their families lived on the outskirts of towns, half respected, half feared. And if they made a mistake, if one swing wasn't enough, or a prisoner took too long to die, the same angry crowd could turn on them. Some were beaten, some jailed, a few even executed themselves. Being an executioner wasn't a profession. It was a lifelong exile. 5. Tanners, living in filth. Leather was an indispensable material in the medieval world, but tanning was a nightmare no one wanted to think about. Tanners spent their days scraping rotten animal hides, soaking them in vats filled with urine, lime, or dog feces. Their hands cracked and burned, their lungs filled with toxic fumes. Their skin absorbed the stench so deeply that even after bathing, the smell seemed to cling to their bones. Villagers kept completely away from their homes. Some towns banned tanners from living within the city walls because the smell alone could ruin the markets. They produced the leather worn by knights in battle, even the emperor's clothing, but they lived in conditions unsuitable even for animals. These were the 5 most cursed professions of the Middle Ages, so dangerous, dirty, and horrific that most people today wouldn't even dream of doing them. Yet for millions, it was part of everyday life. No fame, no glory, just a struggle for survival. Remember this when thinking about the Middle Ages. Behind every castle, every king, every legend, there were shadowy figures doing the jobs nobody else wanted to do. And history almost erased them. Which of these cursed professions shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you want more brutal, real medieval history, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next episode of the Middle Ages.